And you're proving it on yourselves. Look at the beautiful experiences you guys are having. Look at the guy's skin. And the got guys now hair growing. We got guys with the, I mean, it's just so many things you guys are seeing now. From everything I have researched, it seems fibroids are either caused by too much animal protein in the body or dysfunctioning adrenals, which would, yeah, well, estrogen is going to be a feeder, and there's no question. Remember that. That's an acidic feeder, no question. But you're going to have a lymphatic problem. If you had an acidic feeder, okay, as long as you're moving lymph, then everybody would be, especially if you have adequate progesterone to come counter that. Again, you got to look at the counter of estrogen, which is progesterone. And it's true, a lot of women run low progesterone levels. I think Dr. Lee, a medical doctor, put a lot of attention on progesterone and blowing this myth of the need of estrogen replacement programs. So any book you can get on Dr. Lee's work, I think it was John Lee, wasn't it? But any of his work on that. But he's a medical doctor. He gets into chemistry and then bioidentical, blah, 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 playing that same game. But at least he stepped on the base side of the progesterone as opposed to jumping always on the acid side. Which medical doctors love to dwell on the acid side of chemistry. Get your butts and eyes out of that side of chemistry and get on the base side, and we'll get on with healing people. Yeah, both are right. You know, animal proteins just serve to acidify the body, yank calcium out of the blood. I mean, you don't put calcium, you don't put protein, you don't put animal protein in the blood. It's unbalanced chemistry. It doesn't have that ratio of 80-20 like fruits and vegetables do, of base to acid. Probably a little different nowadays, but basically that's what we figure, 80-20, 70-30. That's a good ratio to maintain the health of life, and you won't find that in animal proteins. It's just not that, you know, I don't know why people are fixated on the need of that, except with weak adrenals, they love the epinephrine. They just love the epinephrine, and that seems to be the turn on. Well, it'd probably be better if you just went out and bought epi. Just took some epi and gave you a shot every once in a while. Of course, you'd lose your epi, but you're going to do it eating meat anyway. I mean, if you look at this is why man's lost his adrenalines anyways. He's taken so much through the meat we've eaten, we've lost our adrenal epis. So this is just one case on the stack. What is your opinion in order to heal this? Which herbs? Yeah, go right into that, Micah, sweetheart. Get on that lymph, get on those kidneys, that's the doorway, get on those adrenals, bring those adrenals up. Oh, desiccated adrenal tincture, get on those kidneys, move that lymph. It's really important to move that lymph. Clean up your bowels while you're doing that, and just clean that whole thing up, and that'll come out of there. That'll drain out of there and get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But you got to see sediment in the urine. The same thing we're all looking for here, honey. You really want to see that doorway opening, and then that fibroid, it'll break up. Believe it or not, it'll get softer and softer and softer and softer, and that's really what we're looking for. You know, acids just dehydrate the heart, like this poor baby that's always thirsty. Hello! Majorly dehydrated at 15 months old. Nothing good's going to come of this one. So, not good. And we don't know what else in the body. You know, the vaginal area of that baby. What about the kidneys and adrenals on that baby? Some real serious questions here. Well, we're seeing a lot of this with the kids. This is give me those fruits. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I didn't make it up to this. I was so busy this weekend. I didn't get to this farmer's market where they have some good Amish raised organic navel oranges. Oh. I was wondering if it's possible to kick out myopia. Absolutely. Again, the same sort of thing. Sorry, it sounds peanuts compared to other health. No. Every health problem is serious to me because, you know, it comes back to any type you deal with, muscle, bone, any cell problem. The health should always be considered at the cellular level. The two fluids are the instruments of that health. So it's looking at that and understanding of getting into that lymph system, and that's getting into the kidneys and getting into the adrenals and moving that lymph system. Excuse me. It's not peanuts, but I do believe you're light with help. Yes, I'm 80% raw now with 90% fruits, and I used to drive fast. Oh, thanks for the time. Well, give me those fruits. Keep going and dig deeper into that system of yours, and you'll be okay there. That's a systemic problem here. And it's just got and the lymph is a major systemic fluid, and it's just a process of getting this moving and hydrating the body and getting these acids out, and it's just a process. Sometimes it can be longer than others. It's better to do this before pain sets in. Fistula. This is Coco Loco Bev. I love you, dear one. Oh, man, I have been watching your videos like crazy. I love them. Thanks. I love you too, guys. And Coco Loco Bev, you're a cutie. I asked you about fistula. Oh, and my sister's bum. And just like I told her it was her lymph, she had 2 cut out, and now she has another big one coming. Well, till she gets her lymph moving, she'll keep coming. And she is on high fruits with a salad at night. Doesn't mean she's moving lymph. Remember, this is how you start this process. But just because you eat this way, now this is important, just because you eat this way, doesn't also mean you're moving the lymph either. I mean, that's how bad some lymph systems are. Some lymph systems are really, when we get to the iris part again, I'm going to really show you some lymph systems. I want you to really see the average lymph system that's out there. And it's like, oh my God, that's what we're facing. And so, people, if you can get this and understand the simplicity of it, the rest of it is rolling up your sleeves and time on the plate, and just working it. Just like any other job or any other thing you do, this is a job. Some people are 24/7 getting their health back. Some people can't work because they're too busy getting their health back. And we try to cut off all the things to make it easy, like taking all the herbs at once instead of sitting there taking a whole counter of them, doing everything we can to cut down your time used to getting yourself well so you can have time to enjoy life and work and do your other things. But some people are so bad, they're working 24/7 on their health. But get your mind out of it, because you're feeding your disease. You're feeding dis-ease, not disease, dis-ease. You're feeding, and you've got to get that mind out of there. That mind is energy. And thoughts are things. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts are power. You want to get those thoughts away from that. See your fibroid gone. Know your fibroid gone. Know your fistula gone. Know these things. Excuse me. But at the same time, you're physically, emotionally, and mentally attacking this. And your bodies have to go where you take them. They have to. Some might be harder to pull back because of their genetic weaknesses and because of the levels of milk drinking and meat eating and all the toxicity of the acids and the high protein diets. Yes, there's a lot of repair and a lot of cleaning that needs to be done to the average Homo sapien, even the 15-month-old. It's just the reality we face, Coco Loco. And you're doing very well, my dear one. It wouldn't close on its own, and she was getting sick as it was poisoning her body. That is what the doctors told her. Oh. Yeah, like that thing is poisoning her body. This is poisonings in her body trying to get out. I tell you, the consciousness of the AMA is so constipated, so irrational. Nothing fits in everything. It's totally opposite their thinking. When they think something, if you think the opposite, that's where you're going to find the truth. Is that disgusting? I told her if it was me, I would just let it drain. Thank you, Coco Loco. Best thing you said. Let that baby drain. Use some healing salve if you want to. Put some drawing. I tell you what, take a raw potato, a raw white potato. Got to go to the store to buy it because I know you don't have one in your kitchen. Get a raw white potato, cut it in half, get a 4x4 gauze, scrape that white potato stuff right on the gauze, wrap that fistula, and it'll start pulling and start pulling. You can use, we have different salves that are not as strong as black salve to pull and draw and clean that out, absolutely. But it's constantly fed from a systemic lymph system. So topically, you hit it right on. Let that baby drain. Let those poisons drain. It isn't poisoning her body. It's poisons coming out of her body. Boy, I wish these guys would get that. I don't do doctors, da-da-da-da-da. Always should she just let it open and drain? Absolutely. You were right on with that, but do the raw potato, Coco Loco, Beth. And, okay, let me see. Be here now. Yeah! I love that's a good one. I love them. You know, I used Ramdas for a lot of years to help me, you know. I always loved that little book he did. And it's be here now. And I was used to repeat that to myself. Be here now, be here now. No better 3 words ever said. Be here now, be here now. And you can use that to help. Oh, my mind, be here now. You know, you just use it and just keep building. You gotta find your way home. And yet, you're already home. It's just all these different sheaths that are wrapped around you so you can experience these different dimensions. But once you leave a dimension, go to another dimension, you can travel in all these dimensions. They're all out here simultaneously. But who's the experiencer of the experience? Who's the experiencer of the ride? And that's you. And that you can only be found in the now. That Marilyn. Sorry I didn't know your email address. I left it on the last video. It'll be up there. I think it's, we got about 3 or 4 of them around here. Chris@AOL.com. I don't know. You have to ask them. I don't do that. I once, it wasn't transparent to me. I would like to come in anonymous here if possible. Oh, well then I'm not going to, well, I just said your name up here. You wrote it up here, so maybe I better not. Wow, you eat 25 to 30 bananas every day? Woohoo! Also have an issue with going to sleep quite often. And I would get away from so many bananas and turn it up to grapes. Grapes. Yeah, I would go grapes, 21-year-old female. I would go grapes, sweetheart, as opposed to so much bananas. Really kick it up and detoxify the body. Pop up your adrenals. If you're 21, goes without saying, adrenals, kidneys, things like that. And move that lymph system and you'll be good. You know, I love where you're coming from. Good stuff. M. Zimmerman, 12. Funny, Dr. M. I like the survival shows too, especially the guy and his wife. Yeah, that's pretty cool, you know it? She's pretty gutsy broad. I mean, woman. She's pretty gutsy lady. I watch those guys. You know, everything you learn, because who knows? That one guy actually took himself off the grid and up in northern Canada somewhere. Too cold for me to go off the grid. I want to go off the grid in the tropics. But, yeah, I mean, I love all that stuff. And it's, you know, there's so much fixating on eating of the carnivorish thinking instead of the frugivorish thinking. But, you know, it depends where you're at. Survival, you got to survive. And that's a good show to show you. Those survival shows, you got to adapt where you are. It's just a perfect show to show you how you have to adapt where you're living with and how we adapted in the earlier times of man, especially those that migrated north. They lost their tropical paradise, or as the one lady said, the earth shifted and maybe we lost it there. But we can return it. We can grow fruit trees. We can make deserts gardens. We can do that. We have the awareness, and we certainly have the awareness to grow fine-tasting organic food. What happened to our organic food?